Well, in the previous lecture, we stopped at the contract and the Ethereum, that is web application and contract interaction. So for that, the program 5, what we have seen is communicating with the smart contract from the front-end application. So for this, I have used the Web3 0.19.0 because this is the older version, and in which we don't the promise kind of technique has not been implemented in the APIs. So directly, like a normal function, we can instantiate and we can get the values. So that is the reason it will be very comfortable for us to use Web3 0.19.0. The one who are not that much good in the JavaScript programming, they may be recommended to use this package. The one who are good in the latest updates in the JavaScript environment, so they may go for the latest one. So anyhow, this is the one what we have discussed in the previous one. So out of the discussion, we have mainly focused on the Remix IDE. And in the Remix IDE, we have seen several ways to connect with the smart contract. And also we have seen the compilation or instantiation of the smart contract using the JavaScript virtual machine and Web3 provider, and there is another option called injected Web3. Okay, so all these are useful especially to work with the smart contract and with the front-end application. So this is what the main aim, that many channels have been provided to communicate with the smart contract and to work with the smart contract. So we'll see today the injected Web3 concept. So here, during the compilation, after at the time of deployment, you can see here the JavaScript virtual machine London and JavaScript virtual machine Berlin. So these are the virtual machines provided by the Remix IDE for compilation of your smart contract and to deploy it and test it. While coming to the Web3 provider, the Web3 provider is the Ganesh client or the test RPC that is running at the background on your local host. So actually there are three ways of connection. One is using the providers, another is by WebSockets, and another is by the inter-process communication. So usually the inter-process communication is the best one whenever we use the server on the local host. Actually it is a very secure one because it is on the local host and we can connect it. While coming to the sockets, that is sockets means actually there is the Web3 sockets. Actually there is another channel with which you can connect with the front-end application and the background smart contract. And another one is HTTP, which is more like sockets only, but it will be having some provider. So the Ganesh client is one kind of provider, and test RPC is a kind of provider that will give you the HTTP URL to connect with the background backend application of the Ethereum. So backend application is the backend of the Ethereum where you deploy the smart contracts. So we have seen the command based Ganesh, that is our test RPC. Anyhow, I have provided in the image the concept of the graphical user interface based Ganesh client. We'll see that. So if you search for this, you will find here Ganesh 2.5.4 Linux x86_64.app image. So one thing you can do is, first, before going to this, sudo chmod 777 *. So that means you are going to give the read permissions, write permissions and access permissions to all the files in the folder. Or you may also give the specific permission to the Ganesh client itself. Then you can run /Ganesh 2.5.4 Linux and run it. So this is the graphical user interface based the Ganesh client. So here we have it is providing two workspaces. That is, one is quick start, another is a new workspace. Under the quick start, it is providing the services for the Ethereum as well as Corda. While coming to the new workspace, also you can create your own workspace. It is also providing the services for the Ethereum network as well as Corda network. So here quick start, just I'm clicking quick start, directly Ethereum. So it will configure first, and then, like how the Ganesh client is showing the accounts and the URL like localhost :8545, the same way the graphical user interface will also show the accounts in GUI format. And not only the accounts, it will also show so many other things like the accounts, blocks, transactions, contracts, events, logs. These are the various things that you can visualize by using this graphical user interface. So here accounts, these are the accounts. So anyhow, these accounts in general we will find on the command prompt whenever we go for the Ganesh CLI. And these are the toy ethers that are provided for each account. And we can also get the private key of this account by clicking here. This is the private key with which we can do the development of the contract or development of the blockchain. So this is the general overview, and you can see here current block, nothing is there. And if you look at in the blocks, this is the Genesis block created because we are going to start the network. So this is the Genesis block created. So here the current block is 0, and gas price, here the gas price has been mentioned. Gas limit has for every block has been mentioned here. Hard fork network ID, this is the network ID is 5777 because at the time of creating nodes and creating a network, we have seen a network ID to be assigned. So here a network ID is assigned, that is 5 followed by 3 sevens. And here RPC server, HTTP localhost 7545. When we use the Ganesh client, it is running on the 8545. Here it is 7545. So we may use this particular URL to connect with the Ganesh GUI. And mining status auto mining because it is a proof of stake kind of thing. So it is auto mining will be done. No proof of work kind of thing has been allotted here. And here blocks and transactions. If any transaction happened, then this particular transaction, then contracts, events, logs. So log is nothing but which is happening on the command prompt. The same thing will be shown here. So this is the log of the Ganesh GUI. So now if we can also go to the Remix IDE, and whenever we deploy any contract and compile it, so for example ballot contract is there. If we compile it, we may also compile on the latest one, and if you want to deploy, then you can also deploy using the Web3 provider. If you click on Web3 provider, you will find here the Web3 provider endpoint. The Web3 provider endpoint may be 7545 because we are running the Ganesh GUI here. So Ganesh GUI we are running. So what we do is we are going to connect with this endpoint and OK. So whenever the endpoint is connected, obviously it is connected to the custom network of 5777, which is the one which is running in the background. Let me minimize this. So this is the thing which was done. So actually this is the network connected, and here are the accounts. If you look at, these are the accounts which are provided by the Ganesh CLI 0xBE. And here the first account is also 0xBE4. So that means either we may run this Ganesh client as an RPC server in the background from the command prompt or from the GUI also. The GUI is more sophisticated than the CLI, the command line interface. The reason is we can view the blocks, transactions, contracts, etc. here. So whenever we deploy, the transaction will be generated, the transaction will be recorded here and will be shown here. So we'll see one example. So here, anyhow, the compilation was auto compile. Let will go for auto compilation, or let will compile whatever the here already there. So one thing we do is we'll create the box.sol, which is a easy one that we are going to see from long time. So it will be easy for us to remember it. in the program 5 we have box.sol. We'll copy this onto the Remix IDE. Now we'll choose the, since it is 0.5.0, so we'll choose the 0.5.0 compiler for compiling it. So compilation is successful. Now we'll go for deploy. So the box has been, box contract has been instantiated. We'll go to the GUI. You look at here, the transaction hash has been generated, and for the compilation and for the deployment and contract creation. So since I clicked the deploy for two times the contract has been instantiated, and the transaction hash of the contract that has been displayed over here. So it is easy for us to go through the tracking of what are the transactions generated here, and here whatever the transactions generated was formed as a block. So first initially the Genesis block, then 1, 2. So as the number of transactions generated, each transaction is added into a block. So it is a very simple one that is showing on the screen. And here for everything you have the mnemonics. These are the mnemonics is very important. Using these mnemonics we can restore our account from anywhere. So these mnemonics are very important. You have to note it somewhere. So this mnemonic is not secure. Don't use it on the public blockchain. So if you are using on the test network, then only you can use this. It is just like the keywords with which you can restore your account. So that is the reason whenever we use this kind of wallets, then it is better to store this mnemonic somewhere, so that even though you've forgotten that wallet, this will be recorded on the test network, and these transactions can be recovered from the test network. So for example, if I want to recover it from some other wallet, we can do it by copying it and pasting in that wallet. For example, MetaMask is a wallet, we know it. We can also fetch the accounts via this particular MetaMask. So whatever the mnemonics are there, we may use this mnemonics here. Now I already have a secret recovery phrase. So import wallet, click here, I agree. So here just I am pasting the secret recovery phrase, and so this is the secret recovery phrase, and password I am giving as 123456. And so actually minimum 8 characters length should be there, password. So it is identifying whether so all done. And here the account, here it is directly connected to the Ethereum main network. From this we may also connect to the local network. So basically this MetaMask directly connected to the main network of the Ethereum. To connect to the local host, so we need to add a network here, and we go to the networks, and here local host, it was provided as 8545, but we can delete network, and we can add a network manually, local network, new RPC URL, http://localhost:7545 chain ID 5777 and save. Endpoint returned a different chain ID. Okay, 1377. Okay, no problem. 1337 and save. So you can see the account 0xBE. Okay, the same account has been appeared here. So only thing is, just by using the mnemonics, we have recovered our account from other wallets. So these mnemonics are very important. One need to remember these mnemonics so that it will be easy for us to recover the account from our wallet from any other provider. So whenever we connect to the any main network or any other test network. So this is what the example that I am going to demonstrate to you. So how to use the GUI based wallet, that is the Ganesh wallet. Now I'm closing this Ganesh wallet, and now I'm choosing here the, see, if you won't mention this, continuously you will get the warnings like this, cannot get into the account, because I have closed the Ganesh account. So directly I'm going to choose the JavaScript virtual machine like this. This is Web3 provider. Previously we have seen from a command prompt, and also now we have seen from the graphical user interface. Now what we do is we'll see the injected Web3. So whenever I click injected Web3, so automatically the MetaMask has to come into the picture. So automatically MetaMask will open. So MetaMask is said to be the injected Web3. So that means which is injected into the browser. So it is a kind of wallet. It is injected into the browser as a plugin. Whenever I select this injected Web3, automatically whenever go for the deploy of the contract, automatically the wallet will open, that is MetaMask wallet will be open, and it will show the amount like this, and with which we can perform the transactions. So one can also view the same transaction over the Etherscan website. Whatever the transactions were generated, the same transactions can also be viewed on the Etherscan website whenever we connect with the any test networks. So this is the way we have the this is the way we can inject, we can use the environment of Web3 provider, injected Web3 and other things. So if you don't have the Web3 provider, and if you have the MetaMask, which is as a plugin to your browser, then we can directly use the injected Web3, and we can invoke the MetaMask and connect to the any one of the test network or local networks. Anyhow, if you want to connect to the test network, we can directly connect to the test network, or if you want to connect to the local network, we can also connect to the local network via the MetaMask. But Web3 provider is the only one which is available, which is we are going to run the test RPC in the background and connecting to it. And there are many other test Web3 providers available. So we may give the Web3 providers address, and we may connect to the such Web3 providers, which are free of cost. They will provide you the service. You no need to set up any server at your end, but they will provide you one URL, and via that URL you can perform all the transactions. So in this injected Web3, we have seen how the MetaMask is used as the injected Web. Then, if we know that the MetaMask is injected into the as an extension to the Chrome, we can also directly write the applications with the help of the injected Web3. That means we have seen the application development by including the Web3.js package in the HTML page, like script JavaScript is equal to script is equal to we are going to give the path to the Web3 min.js file where this Web3 packages or API is available. But we can also directly take the Web3 from the browser itself. If the browser has installed with the MetaMask or any other injected Web3 plugins, to check how this injected Web3 is available or whether it is there or not, just we can go to the more tools, and there we can go to the developer tools. Under this developer tools, you will find the console, and here if you type window dot, so here window dot, whenever I say window dot, if I press window dot, automatically many attributes will be shown here. So if already injected Web3 is injected Web3 like MetaMask is installed as a plugin to the Chrome browser, we will find Ethereum. Okay, so here let us see Ethereum. So here Ethereum is undefined because this is not found in the browser, because I have not installed, I have not set up the MetaMask here. Let us go to the Bodhi Linux, in which I have already set up this. We have already set up this MetaMask. So here MetaMask is there. We'll try to configure the MetaMask first. So the MetaMask configuration will be like this. Welcome to MetaMask, connecting to the Ethereum and decentralized web. Okay, get started. So here, instead of I already have the secret recovery phase. We'll go from scratch. We'll create our own wallet first. Okay. So before going to this, first we'll see whether window is available or not. That is, window package is window.ethereum package is available or not. For this, we'll go to developer tools, and here on the console, we'll type window.ethereum. So window.ethereum is undefined here. So now what we'll do is we'll close this and we'll go to the let's get startup. So create a wallet. So in order to create the wallet, here I agree. First of all, we need to provide a password. It is just like how you will give the password in the time of creating the account or creating your own node. So first we will need to give the password at least of 8 characters. I am giving 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8, and it will give you the mnemonics, which are called key phrases. Those key phrases must be kept secret with you. So to take care of that, we'll go for Notepad. Just I'm saving them in Notepad whenever it is appeared, because the MetaMask now it will show you the video also how to how to create the recovery, how to create this, how to save this particular mnemonics, and how to recover your account using those mnemonics. So next, and here, so you click here to reveal the secret words. Just click on this. So here these are the words actually. So we'll copy this and paste here, and you are supposed to save this particular file. And also you need to remember the password, otherwise the account cannot be recovered. Okay. So after that, next, now it will ask you to enter the secret code, secret recovery phases. So first one is output, is the phrase here. Next phrase is common. Next phrase is large. Next is race. The same order you are supposed to provide, otherwise you cannot recover your create your account. At the time of recovery also the same thing you are supposed to use, erase. So if you might have done zigzag way, then your account cannot be recovered during the recovery. Recon, silver, test, cousin, shine and glow. So now the account has been created. Now it will be directly connected to the Ethereum main network. So we can have connection with the Ethereum test networks like Ramston or Ringb. So that we'll see afterwards. So this is the Ethereum main network to which we have connected. Now the MetaMask plugin is active now. That means this MetaMask wallet is active. From this, we need to go through this, because wallet was attached to this window, this tab. So we'll go to the window.ethereum provider. So you got a result here. Yeah, you got a result here. So this is the Ethereum provider. So this is the Ethereum provider details. That means previously whenever we typed this Ethereum, we didn't get any value thing, like undefined we got. So these are the Ethereum provider APIs, because sometimes we may not remember all the APIs. So we can go to the MetaMask documentation, in which in our code we are supposed to write like this. If it is a Ethereum JavaScript provider API code, this is the standard provider. If provider, that is detect Ethereum provider. So we have already detected in our case the Ethereum provider. So this is the Ethereum provider. So using this Ethereum provider, we need to create the Web3 object. So const provider is equal to detect Ethereum provider. If provider is available, then start up app with the provider. Otherwise, please install the MetaMask. So your web application will check whether the MetaMask is available or plugged in with the browser or not. If it is not there, then it will give you the log, or it may give you the alert to install the MetaMask. Otherwise, it will use the same provider, MetaMask provider. And rest of the things are common, like how we use the Web3 Node.js. In the same way, we'll use using this particular MetaMask plugin. So that is the reason we'll call it as the injected Web3. Here we look at Ethereum.e is connected, whether it is connected or not. Okay, all these events and all, what are the functions we use, API we use with the Web3.js, the same type of functionality we'll also use here with the help of MetaMask. So that reason, if you create a private network, if any user want to use the network, then they need to include this MetaMask as a plugin to the browser, so that your application will run smoothly. So this is what the injected Web3 and MetaMask, and how this using this MetaMask and injected Web3, you can directly develop the web applications and can connect to the Ethereum networks.